Welcome to the session on control structures. I am Modigar Narendra, working as assistant professor in Vignan University, and the topics to be covered today in this session is sequential flow, conditional flow, and repetitive flow, along with the syntax, examples, and flowchart. So what is the control structures and why you need these control structures? The control structures will specify the flow of the program that should be executed by the compiler. The flow can be a sequential flow or conditional flow or iterative flow. As well as it also helps compiler to repeat a set of tasks again and again and again. Okay. So assume that you have two vehicles. Let's explain the example. Assume that you have two vehicles, bike and car. Which one you will choose? That depends on the weather condition. So here weather is a parameter. If the weather is raining, generally people prefer to go with car. If the weather is clear, and people prefer to go with bike, as bike gives better mileage and it's economic. So here the parameter is weather. Okay, it depends on the whether you choose whether you have to go with car or go with a bike. In the same way, if you would like to design a car if you would like to design a driverless car, okay, when the car is about to reach, it has to observe traffic signal. Okay? If the traffic signal is red, the car is supposed to stop. If the traffic signal is red as well as yellow, the car is supposed to stop, but it should be ready for the movement. If the traffic signal is green, the car is need not to stop, it can move further. Okay? Here, the parameter is the traffic signals. Okay? Based on the traffic signal, the driverless car will decide whether it has to move or it has stop or it has stop and wait ready for the next movement. In the same way, the control structures will specify whether a set of instructions to execute or not based on set of conditions. Okay. It decides the flow of the program to execute. Okay. It has three flows. What is sequential flow, conditional flow, and iterative flow. In sequential flow, the instructions will execute one after another and no statements will be skipped and there is no jump and all. Whereas in conditional flow, there are four statements in conditional flow: if statement, if-else statement, else-if statement, as well as switch statement. So when we use if statement, if you have only one option, okay, whether to choose it or whether to leave it, so you can go with the if statement. Okay, if the condition satisfies, execute some set of instructions. If the condition does not satisfy, don't execute some set of instructions. So generally, you prefer this one if you have only one option to choose. Okay. Then if you have two options and if you want to choose one among them, then go with the if-else statement. Okay. For example, the vehicle example in the previous slide that we discussed. Okay. If you have a bike and car, which one you choose? That depends on the condition. If you have more than one option to choose, then either you go with the else-if statement or switch statement. Okay. And if you want to repeat a task again and again and again, then you go with the repetitive flow. Okay. The repetitive flow is to execute set of instructions again and again and again. It has three statements: first statement, while statement, and do while statement. Okay. If you know exactly how many number of times you would like to execute a set of instructions, then you go with the first statement. If you know exactly how many if you don't know exactly how many number of times you need to execute, then go with the while. And the do while statement is similar to while statement, except that the instructions you specified in do while will be executed at least once, irrespective of whether the condition is satisfied or not. So let's talk all three flows one after another. Let's start with the sequential flow. In sequential flow, all the instructions will execute one after another and no statements will be skipped and all the statements will execute in the order. Okay? The order depends on the order in which the instructions specified by the programmer. So here the first instruction will execute first and it produces this output, instruction 1. Then the second instruction will execute, then the third instruction will execute, then fourth one, then fifth one, and then sixth one. So all the instructions will execute one after another. Okay? For example, the best example for sequential flow is toll plaza system. In toll plaza system, the vehicles follow sequential order. Okay, the vehicle which enter first, that vehicle will leave the toll plaza system. Okay, the order in which the vehicles enter, in the same order they will exit from the toll plaza system. In the same way, the luggage checking in airports also. Okay, the one who the person first who enters, that person luggage checking will be finished first. The next flow is conditional flow. Okay, in conditional flow, we said there are four statements: if statement, simple if statement, if else statement, else if statement, and switch statement. First, let's look into the simple if statement. Okay, the simple if statement, you will have only one option. Okay, either you have to choose it or leave it. That depends on the condition. So, for example, assume that you are working in office, and if you feel hungry, so what you will do? So you will go and have some food in cafeteria, come back and do the remaining work. If you are not feeling hungry, don't go to the cafeteria, do the remaining work. Here, hungry is the parameter. So based on whether you feel hungry or not, you will go to the cafeteria. Otherwise, you don't go to cafeteria. Okay. So here, this simple if statement will be based on an expression. Based on an expression. Okay. If the expression evaluates to true, then the set of statement you specified in if block will be executed. Otherwise, this statement will not be executed. So what is an expression? An expression is a simple expression like a plus b, a minus b. It can be either simple expression or a conditional expression which involves relational operators like a is less than b, a is greater than b, a divided b, sorry, a not equal to b, a equal to b, or it can be a composite expression, okay, which involves more than one condition like a is greater than b and a is less than c. A not is equal to b or a is equal to c. So it can be any one of these three kinds of expressions. It can be either simple expression or conditional expression which involves relational operators, or it can be composite expression which involves more than one condition. So as far as this condition statement is concerned, these conditional statements always evaluates true, either true or false. The result of these expressions is always either true or false. Okay. So what is the true and what is the how it evaluates true or false? All the non-zero values will be treated as true. And 0 will be treated as false. So you have to remember this. Okay? So when you evaluate any expression, whether it is simple expression or conditional expression or composite expression, you have to convert the result into a Boolean value, either true or false. The value of expression becomes non-zero, then it will treat as a true. The value of expression evaluates to 0, then it will consider as a false. Okay. So for example, if 3, so the compiler will treat this statement as if true. So why? Because 3 is a non-zero, so the non-zeros will be treated as true. So this expression will be treated as if true. Okay. The same way, assume that the value of a is 2 and value of, okay, assume that the value of a is true. Assume that the value of a is 2. And this expression has become like if 2 plus 3. So if 5. As 5 is non-zero, so it will treat as true. Okay. So the expression can be either simple expression or conditional expression or composite expression. Okay, can you any expression? Right. So if the expression evaluates true, the statement you specified inside the if block will be executed. Otherwise, the statement you specified in if block will not be executed, and then the remaining program just below if block will be executed. Let's take an example of finding bigger number given a comma b. Okay, a number. Okay, the first one is if you want to find out whether biggest number between a and b, you have to compare. Okay, here you have to use conditional expressions. If a is greater than b, then you have to print a as a bigger one. If a is less than b, you have to print b as a bigger one. If a and b both are same, you have to print both are same. See here, if this expression becomes true, then only this statement will be executed. You will get a is bigger as output. If this expression becomes true only, this statement will be executed, otherwise this statement will not be executed. If this expression is true, then only the following statement will be executed, otherwise the following statement will not be executed. Okay, so whether a statement has to execute or not, it depends on whether the condition is satisfied or not. So that's why we call it as a conditional statements, or we call it as a condition flows. Okay, and the next example is check whether a number is an even number or not. So what is an even number? A number is said to be even number if it is divisible with 2. Okay, so what does it mean by divisible with 2? When the number is divided by 2, the remainder should be 0. Okay, here for the remainder we are using an operator called as mod operator or called as percentage operator. Okay, so the problem is first get a number, check whether a number is divisible by 2 or not. A number is divisible by 2 if the remainder is 0 when it's divisible by 2. Okay, so when the number is divisible by 2, then it is called as even number. Print as even number. Okay, this statement will be executed only if the number is even number. If the number is not even number, this statement will not be executed. Okay, next let's do one more example. Okay, for the given number, you have to multiply the given number with 5 only if it is an even number. Otherwise, don't multiply the number with 5. Okay, so for that one, first get the number, check whether it is an even number or not. So this is the condition to check whether a number is even number or not. If the number is even number, then only you should multiply with 5. Otherwise, you are not supposed to multiply with 5. Okay, so it will give the output. The statement a is equal to a into 5. This statement will execute only if the number is even number. Otherwise, this statement will not be executed. So, in this simple if statement, you will have only one option, whether to execute it or not. It depends on the condition. If the condition is satisfied, then execute the set of statements that you specified inside the if block. Otherwise, don't execute those statements. Next, let's go with the another condition statement. It's called as if-else statement. In if-else statement, you will have two options and you have to choose only one among them. That again, it is based on the condition. If the condition is satisfied, the statements you specified in if block will be executed. Then the remaining statement just below if-else block will be executed. If the expression becomes false, then the statements you specified in else block. So this is else. So this is else. The statement you specified in else block will be executed, and then the remaining program will be executed. Here, at any point of time, either the statements in if block will be executed or the statement in else block will be executed, but not both at any time. Either the statement in if block will be executed or the statement in else block will be executed, not both at any time. It depends on the expression. So okay, if the expression is true, this statement will be executed. If the expression is false, this statement will be executed. It is the example that the same example. If you have two vehicles, bike and car, which one you choose based on the weather. Let's discuss some examples on this. Check whether a number is divisible by n. Okay, so first get a number. Check whether a number is divisible by n or not. Okay, a number is divisible by n if the remainder is 0 when it is divided by n. Okay, if the remainder is 0, then only you can say that the number is divisible by n. Otherwise, the number is not divisible by n. So for any given input, either this statement will be executed or this statement will be executed based on the result of this expression. The result of this expression is true and this statement will be executed, otherwise this statement will be executed. And then one more example, you have to print whether a number is even number or odd number. If the number is divisible by 2, then the number is even number. Otherwise, you have to print the number as odd number. Okay? So again, let's go with the leap year. What is a leap year? A year is said to be leap year if it is either divisible by 4, or 400, but not 100. So this is the condition for the leap year. A year is said to be leap year if it is either divisible by 4 or 400, but not 100. Okay. So let's see how to check whether how to write a program to check whether a number is divisible by whether a given year is a leap year or not. Okay. Get a year. Check whether a year is leap year or not. Okay. As I told you, the conditions are either it has to be divisible by 400 or it has to be divisible by 4, but not 100. If this condition is satisfied, then the year is called as leap year. Okay. Otherwise, it is not a leap year. Here, so this is an example for composite expression. So which it involves three conditions: the condition 1, condition 2, and condition 3. So it involves three conditions. So it's a composite. This is an example for composite expression. And then the next statement is else if statement. Okay. The next statement is else if statement. So you have to go with the else if statement if you have more than two options, and if you want to choose only one among them. So for example, there are three bikes, TVS XL and Bajaj Platina and Yamaha FZ. So which one you choose? It is based on certain parameters. If price is your parameter, price is your constraint, go with the TVS XL. If the minus is your constraint, go with the Platina. Okay, if price and minus doesn't matter, then go with the Yamaha FZ. So here you have more than two options, you have to choose only one among them. In these kind of situations, generally we go with the else if statement. Okay. You have more than one conditions here. If the condition 1 is satisfied, then the instructions in block 1 will be executed, and then the remaining statement will be executed after the else if later. If the condition 1 is failed, then it checks whether the condition 2 is satisfied or not, whether the condition 2 is true or not. If the condition 2 is true, then the statements in block 2 will be executed, and then the remaining statement will be executed after the else if block. If second condition is also not satisfied, if the second condition is also false, then go with the next condition, go with the next and so on. If you want to execute some set of statement when no condition is satisfied. Then you have to specify those instructions in the else block. So this else block will be act as the default block. This else block will be executed only if none of the conditions satisfied. Okay. Let's see some of the examples for this one. So I would like to design an arithmetic calculator, okay, which has to perform either addition, subtraction, multiplication, division. Not all. It has to perform any one of those operations. Okay. So for this example, for this program, I need 3 inputs, 2 operands and an operator. So here I am getting 2 operands and 1 operator. Based on the given operator, it has to perform either addition, subtraction, multiplication or division. If the given operator is a plus, then the addition has to perform. If it is not a plus, if it is a minus, then this instruction has to execute. If it is a multiplication operator, then this instruction is supposed to execute. If it is a division, and this is supposed to be executed. Okay? If an operator does not match with any of these conditions, then you have to give an error message like it's an invalid operator. So here there are 5 blocks: block 1, block 2, block 3, block 4, and block 5. There are 5 blocks in else if statement. At any time, for any given input, all these 5 blocks will not be executed. Only one block will be executed, and that one block will be depends on the given operator. Okay? So this is an example of else if statement. And the 4th statement in conditional statement is switch statement. This switch statement is similar to else if statement, except that it gives a better representation. So when you want to compare with more number of integer constants, okay, then you go with the switch statement. Okay. So this switch statement will take an expression. It will take an expression, and the result of this expression will be compared with all the labels. Okay. So this is the label 1, label 2, and so on, all the labels. Okay. The result of this expression is compared with all the labels. Okay. The label which is matching with the result only will be executed, and the remaining labels will not be executed. Okay. Generally, it takes an expression, it will evaluate this expression, and that result will be compared with all the labels. Only the instructions in the matching label will be executed, and the remaining instructions will not be executed. Okay? If it is matching with the label 1, then the statement you specified under label 1 will be executed, and the remaining labels will be skipped. After that, the statement just below this case will be executed. So if it is not matched with label 1, it will check with label 2, label 3, and so on with all the labels until it matches. If no label is matched, then the instructions you specified in default statement will be executed. So this is an example, the same example that we discussed in the else if statement. Okay. So here, the arithmetic calculator, it takes 3 inputs, 2 operand and 1 operator. Okay. The switch statement will take an operator as an expression. It will check whether the operator is equal to this label plus or not. If the given operator is plus, the instruction you specified the instruction you specified under this label will be executed. Okay. If not matched with plus, then it will check with the minus. If it is not matched with minus, then it will check with the multiplication. If it is not matching with the multiplication, it checks with the division, and if it matches with the division, then all the instructions you specified under this label will be executed. If the given operator does not match with any of these labels, then the instruction you specified in default block will be executed. Okay, here you have to remember a few things as far as switch case is concerned. For the switch case, there should be always an integer constant. Okay, it should not be a string, it should not be a float or double value, it should be an integer constant. Okay, like 2, 3, 4, 5, it can be integer constant. And one more thing is, it can be a character constant also. Anyhow, the character constant again will be converted into integer constant. Okay, it can be either integer constant or character constant. Anyhow, the character constant again will be converted as integer constant based on the ASCII value. Okay. Okay, here in the previous slide, so we use break in every case. So what is the importance of the break statement? What happens if there is no break statement? Let's see here. If there is no break statement in the labels, so whenever it matches with any label, then all the labels after that matching label will also be executed without stop. So for example, let me tell you an example. For example, if the given input is 3, 6 and plus. The given operator is plus. Here the operator is plus. It will check whether the plus is matched with the first label or not. If it matches with the first label, the instructions you specified under the plus label will be executed. As there is no break statement, all the remaining labels also will be executed. So you will get output as 3 plus 6, 9.0, 0.0 as you specified it as float. It will give the result with addition, subtraction, multiplication, division also. 3 divided by 6, 0.0, as well as invalid operator. Even though the given operator is plus, all the labels will be executed. Why? It's just because of you are missing the break statement. If there is no break statement, so whenever it matches with any label, all the instructions after that label will be executed. For example, if you give input as multiplication, okay, the operator is not matched with the first case, it is not matched with the second case, it matches with the third case, then all the labels after this label will be executed. So you will get the result for multiplication, division, as well as invalid operator. So you should be very careful when using the switch case. You are not supposed to forget the break statements at the end of every case. You are supposed to place break statement at the end of every label. So there are some things that you are supposed to remember. The first one is the expression value that you are giving inside switch should always be an integer constant. The next one is the switch does not allow duplicate labels. Okay, if there are two cases with the same value and the compiler will confuse which one it is supposed to choose. So there should not be any duplicate labels. And the default block that you are specifying in switch block is optional. It is not a mandatory. If you want, you can skip it. And these are some of the problems that you can practice. Okay, so I'll explain one problem and I'll finish the session. So let's check the last problem. Write a C program to find the grades, whether the grade is A or B or C or D or E, based on the marks given in 5 subjects. Let's see. So assume that there are 5 subjects. Subject 1 marks is 60, subject 2 marks is 70, subject 3 marks is 80, subject 4 marks is 40, subject 5 marks is, let's say, 80. What you want to do is, first you want to find out the total of these 5 subjects. Total is equal to sum of all the 5 subjects. The total is 60 plus 70 plus 80 plus 40 plus 80. It is 8 plus 4, 12 plus 8, 20, 30, 330. First find out the total. Then find the average. 330 divided by 5. If there are n subjects, you have to divide with n. 330 divided by n. And the result will be 66. Now you have to check this average with the grades. Okay. If average is greater than 90%, the average is greater than 90, then you have to print it as the grade 8. If not, else check whether the average is greater than 80 or not. If it is greater than 80, then print as B. So like this, you can do it for all the remaining cases. So that's it. With the conditional statement is concerned. In the next video, we will see iterative statements where you can repeat the same task again and again and again until the condition is satisfied. That is, we will see in the next video. And these are some of the problems that you can practice.